Welcome to the Red, White, and You podcast brought to you by Bank Solar. Tommy Daniels here, along with forward Joshua Lammon, who's becoming a very popular internet star these days. And hey, first of all, great video with you and your roommate on the tour. I loved it.
Oh, thanks, Tommy. We appreciate it. We try to go a little above and beyond with it, so I hope the fans enjoy the walkthrough.
We do, absolutely. We had a great quote from you that went up on social media yesterday about, starting a camp. And I know it was heartfelt. I mean, it was a tough ending to the season for all of us because we all believed, Josh, that, this team was going to go a long way in the playoffs. So now that the time has finally arrived, and I know it will be tomorrow, first official day on the ice for training camp, no ice today because of some artwork being done on the ice. But talk about it. How pumped up will you be tomorrow to get out there on the ice for real?
Yeah, super excited. I think all the guys in the locker room are excited to be back, and even the new guys. Obviously, everyone was playing hockey last year and had their season come to an end. So I think there's just there's kind of like that, not nervous energy, but there's a little buzz in the room of guys just getting that itch to be back and playing competitive hockey again. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a super fun training camp. I'm excited for it.
This will be one of the most competitive training camps we've ever had. What a roster. You look at our core guys from last year, and then you look at some of the guys coming from Iowa. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know it's a competitive situation. We've been in that, or you have at least your entire life, fighting for jobs because there's always somebody out there trying to take your job, and you got to prove you're better. You had arguably the best second half of the season of any of our players last year. And we've talked about this many times. When we picked you up in that trade from Florida earlier in the year, Martinson talked about what you're going to bring to this lineup. And you shined many times last year. Like I mentioned before, the big goal in overtime in Tulsa, and I still, remember that one so very, very well. But, just what a great two-way forward you are. You're one of those players that is very sharp and very responsible when you're back in your own end, making sure you get that puck out of there quickly, but also a guy who's making sure that he's putting a good pass out of the zone, not just trying to fire it away. And sometimes you make a mistake there. So talk about your game, how it's evolved, and where you think you are right now as a second-year Allen American.
Yeah, I think I've always kind of played that 200-foot center style game, taking pride in the defensive zone. And I think as I've gotten older and kind of progressed up the hockey ladder through, juniors to college to now pro hockey, I think I have adapted into that role even more so. There can't be 25 goal scorers on a team, right? Everyone kind of has to find their piece in the puzzle.
Right.
And that's just something that I've always taken pride in, like you said, kind of being a reliable player that can kind of be put in any situation when the team needs me. And that's just something I'm, still working on this year. I definitely feel good. It's good to be in a locker room where I know some familiar faces coming into training camp. That's always a plus coming back to Allen for a second year. So yeah, I'm just excited. I don't think my game will change at all from it like last year. Obviously hope to develop and grow upon it and contribute more offensively, but the style of hockey that I play, I think will remain the same for sure.
Just out of curiosity, Josh, have you ever played on a team with so much skill and talent in one room?
No, this is definitely going to be like, the best, I think the best hockey team I've ever played in collectively. Like you said earlier, we have a great group of guys coming from, all sorts of hockey backgrounds coming in this dressing room for camp, and just excited to be a part of it and, have a chance to be on this roster. And, I think, like I said earlier, everyone is excited and it's going to be a really good group of guys.
As a broadcaster, one of the fun things to do is play with lines and look at guys and say, okay, I want this guy with this guy. Do you do that too as a player? Do you look at the guys in the team and say, oh man, I hope these two guys are my wingers? Or for you, one of the most easygoing guys I've ever met, is it just whoever I play with, I play with?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's whoever I play with, play with. There's a lot of guys on this team that are coming in that I've never met or really seen play hockey, so it's tough to kind of speculate lines, anything. I'll leave that to Steve. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of play with anybody, so it's just whoever they put me with, play my best, and it doesn't really change the way I play, depending on who I play with.
Your bromance with your buddy and best friend, and you two are two peas in a pod. I mean, it's amazing. Two of the nicest guys that have ever played in Allen. And I'll say this, and fans know it too. The one thing I love about Lammon and Lancaster is anytime you ask these guys, hey, can you help out here? Can you go up for a charity event? Can you go up and skate, outdoors? You guys have always been two of the first people to volunteer. That goes a long way, and I think you get it. And because at this level, you really have to develop, your personality as a hockey player, and also too, as I tell guys, and I have, I'll go back to Aaron Dell, who played here a few years ago, and Dell, one of the quietest guys, is at Deller. Said someday you might play in the NHL, and I say I know you're shy, but you have to get used to talking in front of a camera, addressing media questions, and I think that's the one thing about you and Les that I love is because anytime I need a good quote or we're going to put you on a Zoom call for, for media or what have you, you guys are always give great answers, always have, an answer I think that's fair, which is what people in media want to hear. Is that something you've ever thought about, or is it just a natural with you?
Uh, I guess natural. I would say I'm not like a huge personality that loves to be in front of the spotlight, but as you said, we're here not only to grow as hockey players, but as human beings. We're not going to be hockey players for the rest of our lives. And, whatever we do in the future, you obviously, like you mentioned, have to talk to people and just get acclimated and comfortable with talking and putting yourself in different situations. So, yeah, I think it's awesome to help out in the community with the community events, volunteering, etc. So, we're always more than happy to help out when you need us, Tommy.
One of the biggest topics has been on social media, Les Lancaster's new hairdo. And you know what? I got to admit, when I saw him last Sunday get out of his pickup truck at the new team apartments in undisclosed location, I was a little shocked. I had no idea that was coming. You're his best buddy. What do you think? Can he pull off the blonde look? Why did he? I didn't ask him yet, but maybe why did he change his hair color?
Yeah, I think he rocks it. I mean, like, I don't think the fans know he had blonde hair before this, so I think it just made it a little more platinum. But we had kind of joked about it this summer. I was gonna get frosted tips, and he was gonna get go platinum, and he just pulled the trigger before I even had a chance. So I just let him rock it, and no, I think he pulls it off. So
I did something stupid one time, and I'm not saying he did. He can pull it off. You're right. Lancaster's a rock star. He can do whatever he wants to do and pull it off. But I did something one time. I lost a bet in high school, and I had to get a perm, an afro. And let me tell you something, that was rocking way up here. Thank God there's not many pictures around of that. But, oh, man, maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life, because you can't just change after a month. It's with you for about a year and a half. And I took a lot of abuse for that, but you know what? I lost a bet, and guess what? I honored it. Now, the guy I was going up against in this bet, and I won't share what it was, he was going to have to shave his head. And I said, okay, what are my options here? Shave my head or get the fro? I'm going with the fro, right? Because at least your hair's still there. You shave your head, you never know what you're going to look like, right? So I figured I'm going to stick with my head of hair. But yeah, I definitely took some abuse of that. All right, enough about hairdos. Thanksgiving just recently, and you being one of the great American kids we have on this team. I know you're a Lions fan, and you guys watch football and had turkey at the team apartments. How was your turkey day?
it was good. The fan club actually was kind enough to give us a Thanksgiving meal, which is awesome. We appreciate that very much. And yeah, we had a very good meal. It was on the football side. It wasn't so positive. The Lions disappointed us again, but they just fired their head coach. So I think maybe they can turn the corner and start moving in the right direction. But we've been here a time or two before. So
yeah, and thank you, by the way, to Wendy Ellis, who made a great Thanksgiving meal for the guys, and we really appreciate that. All right, final thing for you is we start training camp tomorrow. This is obviously a very bizarre year with COVID, and I think we're all unsure of what's going to happen. We're looking at what's happening in the NFL today. And the Baltimore Ravens have 22 players that tested positive for COVID. They're going to try to play a game on Tuesday night. I don't know what's going to happen there. Is there a part of you, and I know people think of athletes, how they're never scared. They're obviously superhuman, what they can do. I mean, is there a part of you that's worried at all about, COVID and traveling around, the country this year and just, I guess, the fear of the unknown?
Yeah, I think there is that kind of cloud of certainty among athletes all over the world of kind of what's logistically going to happen if guys on teams start getting cases and spreads and things like that. I guess I wouldn't say worried, but I think there's definitely some concern to be had that's warranted, just with, like you said, the unknown of what happens if teams start having players test positive and things like that, which I think our league is going to put us in the best position to address those situations and kind of accommodate those scenarios when they come up. So I think you just kind of got to stay flexible and kind of go with the flow.
All right, the Red, White, and You podcast brought to you by Bank Solar. As always, Joshua Lammon, thanks for doing this. Enjoy your football Sunday, and can't wait to see you on the ice tomorrow.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. Talk to you soon.
There he is, Joshua Lammon on the Red, White, and You podcast.